Welcome to the Master AI Disruption Leader Series, Dr. Collige, Frank. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. We're excited to delve into your journey and insights today, especially given your unique perspective in the insurance industry and your work with Property Pros Consulting. As we discussed, this conversation is all about sharing real-life stories of successful business owners, and we want you to feel completely at ease, so you'll have the final say on all content before it's published, ensuring it's something that you're proud to share. So let's start at the beginning of your remarkable story. You'll see for our listeners, I was really impressed with what you do. So Frank, you have a truly fascinating background, from your distinguished military service in Iraq, no, and Afghanistan. I am thankful for the work you've done in this way, to your investigative work with the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation. So what was the pivotal moment or the defining experience, if I may say, that led you to establish Property Pros Consulting?
Well, I spent most of my adult life serving in one capacity or another, either through serving the country by being in the military, helping those who were taken advantage by contractors through being an investigator with DBPR. And when I learned about adjusting, I decided that I wanted to go into the public adjusting side of it, which is actually representing the property owner against a multi-billion-dollar company called insurance carriers.
Okay, so in service, right? And you are in service. So you mentioned in our, pre-chat conversation, that your previous firm's operational ethics didn't align with your values.
Correct.
And could you elaborate on those ethical changes that you implemented at Property Pros Consulting and why they were so crucial to your vision?
Yes. Typically, with the firm that I worked for prior, we would sign contracts up at 20% or 10%, depending on, if it's state emergency or not, which is what the law says you can do. And we still do that with Property Pros Consulting. The difference is with the previous firm, it was dead set. It was strictly, hey, you sign them up with 20%, we're going to take 20% regardless. When I founded Property Pros, I decided we're going to do a sliding scale. We sign them up at 20%, and then we work on proper indemnification. We work with the homeowner, and we work with their contractor, and we work on getting it taken care of. We work on getting the claim paid properly. And if it turns out to be where we can collect 20% and not put the homeowner in dire straits, then we will. If we have to adjust our fee, we will. That is the ethical standards that I put within my company. Is we're not here to hurt homeowners. And matter of fact, we do one pro bono every quarter, because it's part of giving back to the people. We're here to help, not to hurt.
Okay. Well, interesting, here to help, not to hurt. So how has your experience in the military and as an investigator influenced the way you approach advocating for homeowners and business owners today?
In the military, you learn to accomplish a mission, right? So you put mission first, and that's what you do. You just push, and you achieve it. When I was let me digress a little bit. When I was in the military, I was a military cop. I was the Air Force Security Forces. And then when I got out, I became an investigator for DBPR. In both aspects, everything we investigated was put from the very beginning to the end was put together as if we were going to go in front of a jury and we were going to give it to the attorneys to prosecute. So when I founded PPC, we decided from day one we were going to attack every claim as if we were going to sit in front of a jury. So every claim is put together as an investigative report, just facts, boom, boom, boom. And then before we hand it off to the attorney, we put a summary together. That way, when the attorney gets it, they can read the summary and know exactly what happened throughout the whole process with dates, facts, and connections to the exhibits, which is the documents within the file. So that's what we do from day one, is we build it as if we're going to sit in front of a jury. And of course, we settle a lot of them. We don't need the attorney on every claim, but whenever it does go to attorney, the attorney loves us because it's handed to them. They don't have to guess what happened.
It was good to hear this. Thank you. So now let's move on to, your business. So can you tell us a little bit? I mean, you told me that you handle over 1,000 insurance claims annually across 8
Yes.
states with a team of 14 adjusters. Can you give our audience a sense of the scale and impact you have, and perhaps one compelling story of a client you've significantly helped?
All right, so we handle over 1,000 claims a year. We're in 8 states: Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. And the impact we have is a lot of the claims that come to us, we don't really advertise. The claims come to us from word of mouth. And so we're really good at, taking care of our homeowners, and homeowners refer us, contractors, they refer us. And so we've been very successful doing that. We've had claims where we have one particular claim here in Jacksonville, Florida, matter of fact, where the house literally cooked itself. What happened was the thermostat malfunctioned, and the heat pump just kept pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, and it didn't turn off. Homeowners were gone on vacation. Fire department got called because the alarm system went off indicating a fire, and it wasn't a fire. It was just the heat pump kept pumping, and it totaled their house. I mean, well, not complete total, but the tile flooring cracked throughout the whole house. All the cabinets warped. Their leather goods were dry because of all the moisture got sucked out of them. It was just all the vinyl windows were warped. The sliding glass doors was warped. It was just a complete disaster without actual, like, if you walked in, you'd be like, okay, this house ain't that bad. But when you start going into detail, you start realizing how bad the damage really was. All the crown molding was pulling off because it warped, so it pulled off the walls. And same with baseboards. It was quite significant, but the carrier drastically underpaid it. They tried to do cabinet refacing and ignore everything else in the house. We ended up getting that one taken care of for a significant amount of money because that's what the homeowner was owed. But it took a while. It took a lot of work.
I bet. Wow. Okay, that's for only the insurance. So you mentioned your unique sliding scale fee structure which prioritizes proper indemnification for the homeowner. So how does this ethical approach differentiate your company, Properties Pros Consulting, in the market? And what kind of feedback do you receive from clients because of it?
We're getting a lot of positive feedback. Like as I mentioned to you earlier, almost all of our files are referred to us. We don't advertise. And so the sliding scale is real simple. For instance, if you need $10,000 for your roof, and we negotiated with the carrier and we got you 13,000, then we collected 20%. If you needed 10,000 for the roof and we're only able to get you 11,000, then we only take 1,000 because you needed 10,000 for your roof. I'm a firm advocate that if the carrier denied or underpaid your claim up front and then you needed to hire a PA, the PA fee should be paid by the carrier, but that's not what the rules are. So we always advocate and we always push for as much as we possibly can. And then it's up to the homeowner to find a contractor that can do it for that amount. And if the homeowner was referred to us by a contractor, then we get with the contractor, find out what the contractor needs. And if we'll get as close as we can to that. If we meet it, we'll negotiate with the contractor, see if we can't get the contractor to do a little bit cheaper so we can collect our fee. And it just works out for everyone, because if everyone just takes care of each other, the system works well.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So as someone deeply entrenched in the insurance claims landscape for years now, and with your aspirations to Florida's CFO role, the very best of luck with this. What major
Appreciate it.
trends, yeah, of course, what major trends or disruptions are you seeing that are reshaping the industry, particularly concerning consumer protection and fair practices?
There's a lot going on. In Kentucky, for instance, they're trying to outlaw public adjusting essentially. And here in Florida, there has been a lot of legislation that came out a couple of years ago. They got rid of attorney fee statute, which prevents homeowners from being properly indemnified, because when the carrier denies a claim and they hire an attorney, now they got to come out of pocket 30-40% for the attorney. And even if you get the right amount of money for the claim itself, once you pay the attorney, you're not properly indemnified. That was all one-sided. Then you also got you got mandatory arbitration, which if you have Citizens Insurance and they deny your claim, you can't sue them. That's a whole, I can go all day about how that's a violation of constitutional rights, but you can't sue them. They force you into mandatory arbitration, and Citizens pays the arbitrator. Citizens decides what evidence is allowed to be brought in, and then when you lose in arbitration, Citizens sends you a bill for their legal fees. Then you got a bill going up in front of Tallahassee right now that is, if they pass it, essentially allows anyone 65 years of age or older to cancel a public adjusting contract at any time. So essentially, I can get hired by someone who's elderly, win their claim, and then they decide, well, I'm going to cancel your contract, and I don't get paid for my services. And I understand the theory behind it, but in practice, what that's going to do is going to cause a lot of public adjusters to do age discrimination, because I'm not going to want to bring in clients that are elderly, because I want to be able to get paid for my services. So it's going to cause more problems than anything else. And having a law along those lines essentially is just telling everyone that public adjusters can't be trusted, but that's not the truth. Public adjusters are the ones who are advocating for the homeowner. Yeah. And if anything, it's the insurance companies that can't be trusted, where, they keep raising rates and we can't see their books. Makes you wonder.
So there you go. So, all right, so let's build on this. So how do you see technology, specifically AI, impacting the public adjusting field in the coming years, both positively, hopefully, and maybe negatively?
Because, well, right now
because there's one thing that I would like to say that I remember from our conversation. You told me, and you were quite passionate about it, that the unfair playing field, that we operate in Florida under, and the carriers using AI to deny claims. So that's why I wanted to bring this question. Yeah.
Yes, that's where I was actually getting at. Okay. Currently, what we're seeing as PAs is insurance carriers are using AI to determine payouts on claims. And AI is just as good as the information you give it.
Sure.
So if you give it information geared towards denying claims, then when you submit stuff, it's going to deny claims. The whole idea behind a claim should really rest in, you got someone looking at your property, someone who's going to read the policy and apply it, and someone who's going to either stand by either approving, underpaying, or denying the claim. We can't rely on AI to determine that. Now, I see AI moving forward in different aspects. For instance, I'm working with a company right now, and we're trying they want to develop a way to use AI to map the property and determine damage scopes, which is great, and it will help estimators to estimate properly, help public adjusters actually write the full scope of losses, because some things people forget about. I mean, we're all human, we make mistakes.
Sure.
So having AI to either set a base standard or using it to augment what you already know is great. But using it to deny legitimate claims just because of bad inputs, not saying the carriers are doing it on purpose, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you're using it to deny things without someone physically checking everything,
Yeah,
then I think that's wrong.
it's dangerous. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, we still need human interaction. We still have to have human oversight. AI can't make decisions across the board, and unfortunately, a lot of carriers are going that way. There was actually a bill, and I got to check on the status of it, that was introduced into legislation here in Florida to
Mhm.
actually prevent carriers from using AI to deny claims. So the fact that legislators had to do that already shows that it's already being done.
Okay, so shifting to our next phase of this conversation, which of course is linked to what you just said. Let's explore, your next step, your vision, for your company. So looking at property pros consulting, what do you envision as the next level for the business? Is it expanding into more states? Is it deepening your presence in existing ones or diversifying your services? Let us know.
Okay, so it's tricky right now because currently, as I discussed with you, I'm currently running for Florida's chief financial officer, and that election is August 18th. If I get elected on August 18th, then I got to step away from PPC because I can't regulate myself. It'll be a conflict of interest. So right now, at this particular moment, I'm not really looking in one way or the other, with the exception of we are working with a roofing qualifier that we are looking to expand into a roofing division, specifically opening up our own roofing uh, constructions, doing roofs ourselves. Obviously, we can't intermingle roofs with insurance. We can't do that. It'll be two separate things. But right now, that's the only direction that we have planned this year. Now, if I don't win in August, then over the next 10 years, we are going to dig deep into the states that we currently are operating in. And I want to be, over 10 years, I want to be at nationwide.
I remember. So then let's move on. Okay. So you've successfully expanded organically, by teaming up with contractors, as you explained, and addressing their pain points. What do you see as the biggest lever for achieving this ambitious 40 state 10-year vision?
The biggest what?
So what do you see as your biggest lever? Sorry, lever, like a leverage, levers.
The biggest leverage is the fact that we work well with contractors. A lot of contractors have been burned by PAs in the past, and so a lot of them are hesitant about using public adjusters.
I see.
But what I like to tell everyone is a public adjuster is a good PA will help a roofing company, will help a mitigation company, will help any contractor. There are good PAs and there are bad PAs, just like there are some good attorneys and there are bad attorneys.
Mhm.
Don't let the few that you might have come across be the say all end all of public adjusters. Public adjusters, if a PA is really good at what they do, is an asset to not only the contractor but also to the homeowner.
Mhm, mhm,
If the PA is not an asset to you, then you don't have a good PA.
mhm.
And
So
so that's the leverage that we have.
yeah, okay, the quality of your work, your reputation, and
Yes.
stepping in the room with full confidence, and
Yes.
conveying that full confidence to the people that you are talking to. I get it. It's very important for sure. So then, conversely, what do you anticipate as the most significant obstacle or challenge in scaling Property Pros Consulting to that level of 40 states, particularly given the complexity of state regulations and the need for efficient operations, obviously? Yeah.
The most difficult part is finding quality public adjusters. because we've gone through some PAs who come on and we had to get rid of because they don't meet our ethical guidelines. They don't meet our criteria of what we feel is a good PA. And every company, regardless of what you do, you could be a welder, you could be an airline pilot. It doesn't matter what your company is. It's only as good as that one bad person you have.
Yeah.
Because that one bad apple is going to ruin the whole group, and that's going to be your name for your whole company.
I get it. I get it too well. You mentioned using AI for policy analysis and comparing estimates. Are there other areas within your operations, perhaps, as you said, internal workflows or communication, and then you just mentioned, people, right? Good quality professionals, experts, So where you see a significant opportunity for AI-powered automation to enhance efficiency or improve outcomes on the people side, because that's the one that you've told me is the biggest one, and maybe others, okay? Other aspects.
Using AI is great with if okay, let me rephrase this a better way. I want my PAs to know how to read a policy. I want them to know how to apply the policy, and I want them to know how to write a good argument, a good quality argument back to the carrier. Because that's what it comes down to is communication, and we have to have in writing good quality argument. Now, using that argument, once you write it and use an AI to expand and expound on it, I'm all for it. Because now you can use AI to make someone to talk at a much more professional level. I have a doctorate in business, so I know how to research and I know how to write quite well. But majority of public adjusters have high school education, and nothing against them by any means. I don't want them to think I'm disparaging high school education and all that. What I'm saying is most of them have never wrote a research paper. Most of them have never written anything that can hold up to scrutiny. Other than, so a lot of the public adjusters, when they come in, I see when they first start with us, I had them email me before the email goes to the carrier because I want to be able to see their standard of writing. And I've seen plenty where they come in, we're like, oh, no, we got to tweak this, we got to tweak that. This is, unfortunately, this doesn't sound the way you want it to sound. And communication, specifically written communication, has took a hard hit because of our education system over the past decade. That a lot of the emails that we get, I've actually seen emails from carriers where they're like tons of misspelled words. They're using acronyms. They're using the slang. Like, it's difficult to explain thoroughly, but they're using vernacular that you really shouldn't be using in professional language. And so using AI to take what you've written and make it more professional and presentable and something that can stand up to scrutiny, I'm all for. Because I can't send every PA back through grammar school. Just not possible. So using AI to do that is absolutely 100% something we highly encourage all of our guys to do. Using AI to compare and contrast between our estimate and the carrier's estimate on large losses, 100%, because it's going to take and look at both estimates and compare line by line and what's missing on theirs versus ours in a matter of a couple minutes, where it'll take us a couple hours to actually go line by line, make sure the measurements are right, et cetera, especially on, estimates that are like 60, 70 pages long because it's a total loss. So stuff like that, we definitely use AI. But on a general everyday, I don't particularly use AI on anything more than just that.
Understood. Well, we've learned a lot. I think you have a very specific position on your profession, or in your profession, sorry, and you're capable of making a difference. I hope that your influence will keep beaming. Maybe if you get to that role that you're looking for in August, through this election as CFO, will give you another vantage point and will include that profession as well. Of course, you have other responsibilities. So thank you very much for all these insights. I really appreciate it. It was quite inspiring to meet you in the first place out of all the conversations that we had in the past prior to this interview. And the interview itself was quite inspiring. So I'm really grateful for your time and your expertise, and I can only wish you well with your insurance company. So if you want to reach Dr. Collige, please find him on his website, Property Pros Consulting in Florida. And maybe good luck also with your, candidacy and with your roofing company. All right, all the very best.
All
This
right.
is the end of our episode today, and I hope to see you soon again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, my pleasure.